A young boy, barely a teenager, woke up one morning in ancient Canaan with a story etched in his mind. A vision of 11 stars, the sun, and the moon bowing before him. This wasn't just a dream, it was a divine message, a prophecy. For Prophet Yusuf, son of Prophet Yaqub, known to many as Jacob. Yusuf was blessed, not just with striking beauty that would captivate all who saw him, but with a pure heart and a keen intellect. His father, Prophet Yaqub, a man of profound wisdom and deep faith, held a special affection for Yusuf and his younger brother Benjamin. This wasn't favoritism in a worldly sense, but an intuitive recognition of the divine light and prophetic potential within Yusuf. Yaqub saw in his son what others couldn't yet, a spiritual insight that set Yusuf apart. When Yusuf, still just a boy, recounted his celestial dream to his father, Yaqub's heart swelled with understanding. He recognized the profound significance instantly. The 11 stars represented Yusuf's 11 brothers, and the sun and moon, his parents. This wasn't a mere fantasy. It was a clear sign from Allah, hinting at a future where Yusuf would rise to immense greatness, a destiny that would see even his family acknowledge his elevated status. But Yaqub, a prophet himself, also understood the dangerous power of human emotion. He knew the dream, if disclosed, would ignite a firestorm of envy among Yusuf's older brothers. "My son," Yaqub warned him gently, "do not relate your vision to your brothers, lest they concoct a plot against you. Satan is indeed a manifest enemy to mankind." He knew the human heart, when consumed by jealousy, could be driven to unimaginable cruelty. This quiet warning, delivered with a father's love and a prophet's foresight, set the stage for the dramatic conflict that was about to unfold, highlighting the acute spiritual insight a prophet father possesses. The burning envy among Yusuf's 10 older brothers was not a sudden spark. It had festered for a long time, a slow burn that consumed their hearts. They watched, their resentment growing, as their father Yaqub showed what they perceived as undue affection for Yusuf and Benjamin. In their eyes, they were the older, stronger, more capable sons, men who bore the burdens and responsibilities of the family. Why, then, did their father seem to favor these two younger boys, especially Yusuf, who was known for his beauty and gentle nature? They saw Yusuf not as a brother, but as an undeserving rival, a threat to their share of their father's love and attention. This perceived favoritism gnawed at them, twisting their thoughts until a dark hatred took root. They began to hold secret meetings, their whispers growing louder, their bitterness intensifying with each shared grievance. "Surely Yusuf and his brother are dearer to our father than we, though we are a strong group," one would say, and another would add, "Indeed, our father is in clear error." This toxic cycle of blame and self-pity culminated in a sinister plot, a plan born from the depths of their envy, illustrating just how destructive and blinding this emotion can be. You can almost feel the tension in those clandestine gatherings, the pressure building until something had to break. Their sinister plan was chilling in its simplicity and brutality. They approached their father Yaqub with a request, cloaked in innocence. "Father, why don't you trust us with Yusuf when we are truly his well-wishers? Send him with us tomorrow to enjoy himself and play, and we will surely protect him." Yaqub, sensing an unspoken danger, was deeply distressed. He reluctantly agreed, his heart heavy with foreboding, a father's intuition screaming that something terrible awaited his beloved son. He pleaded with them, "Indeed, it grieves me that you should take him away, and I fear that a wolf would devour him while you are heedless of him." But the brothers, with their dark intentions hidden behind smiles, assured him, If a wolf were to devour him while we are a strong group, then we would be losers indeed. They led Yusuf away, under the guise of an innocent outing, to a remote desert well. There, far from the protective gaze of their father, they stripped him of his beautiful tunic, beat him, and then, with a shocking lack of remorse, cast him into the dark, desolate depths of the well. Their cruelty was unfathomable. Upon returning to their father, they feigned profound grief, their faces stained with crocodile tears. They presented Yusuf's blood-stained shirt, torn and smeared, as evidence of a wolf attack, a chilling lie. Prophet Yaqub, his heart shattered, smelled the deception, crying out, "Rather, your souls have enticed you to do a deed, so patience is most fitting. And Allah is the one sought for help against that which you describe." His grief was profound, but his faith in Allah's plan remained unwavering, even amidst overwhelming sorrow. Alone in the terrifying darkness of the well, a helpless child betrayed by his own family, Yusuf's ordeal must have been unimaginable. The cold, damp stone, the echoing silence, the crushing realization of his brother's treachery. It was a profound moment of despair. Yet, even in this darkest hour, Allah did not abandon his chosen prophet. A moment of divine intervention pierced the gloom, a revelation that brought solace and a glimmer of hope to the terrified boy. Allah sent a message to Yusuf, assuring him that he would one day inform his brothers of their heinous deed, even as they remained completely unaware of his true identity. Imagine the emotional power of that moment. A child, utterly alone and abandoned, receiving direct divine guidance, a promise of justice and recognition. This wasn't just comfort, it was a reaffirmation of his divine destiny, a pattern interrupt in the tragedy that established Yusuf's profound connection to Allah's plan, even in the bleakest circumstances. This revelation instilled within him a quiet strength, a sense of purpose that would guide him through the trials to come, offering you a sense of wonder and comfort amidst the overwhelming sorrow of his betrayal. Days later, a passing caravan journeying from Midian to Egypt, in desperate need of water, approached the very well where Yusuf lay. Their water drawer lowered his bucket, and to his astonishment, pulled up not just water, but a beautiful young boy. "Oh, good news!" he exclaimed. "Here's a boy." Their initial joy at this unexpected discovery quickly turned into a more calculated assessment. The brothers, who had been lingering nearby, perhaps to ensure Yusuf's demise or to witness his fate, quickly reappeared. Realizing their botched attempt to kill him, they saw an opportunity to profit from their wickedness. They claimed Yusuf as their runaway slave, and with callous disregard for their own flesh and blood, sold him to the caravan for a paltry sum, a few silver coins. Think about that. They sold their own brother into slavery for what amounted to pocket change, solidifying the depths of their depravity and the destructive power of their envy. Yusuf, now a slave, began his long, arduous journey to Egypt, a land of ancient wonders and bustling cities. This marked a pivotal turn in his destiny. From the depths of a well to the harsh conditions of servitude, yet unknowingly, it was also the first step on a path towards unimaginable greatness. How would a young boy, sold into slavery, ever rise to power in a foreign land and fulfill the prophecy of his dream? How would a young boy, sold into slavery, ever rise to power in a foreign land and fulfill the prophecy of his dream? His journey continued, a grueling trek across vast deserts, bound for the heart of ancient Egypt. Can you even begin to imagine the culture shock? From the simple nomadic life of his father's tents, Yusuf was thrust into a sprawling, opulent metropolis. Hieroglyphs adorned towering temples, colossal statues dominated the skyline, and the air hummed with the ceaseless activity of merchants, artisans, and servants. This wasn't just a different country, it was a different world. He was paraded through the slave markets, a young, handsome boy, a stark contrast to the rough-hewn men surrounding him. It was there, amidst the cacophony and desperate faces, that he caught the eye of Potiphar, a man of immense power and influence. Potiphar wasn't just any official, he was the Al-Aziz, the chief minister of Egypt, a man close to the pharaoh himself. Potiphar, a keen judge of character, saw something extraordinary in Yusuf. It wasn't just his physical beauty, but an aura of nobility, intelligence, and an underlying purity that set him apart. He purchased Yusuf, not as a common laborer, but with a sense of purpose. When he brought Yusuf home, he instructed his wife, Zuleika, to treat him with respect, saying, "Make his stay comfortable. It may be that he will profit us, or we may adopt him as a son." This wasn't just a master giving orders. It was an acknowledgement of Yusuf's inherent worth. And Yusuf didn't disappoint. He quickly adapted to the intricate workings of Potiphar's grand household. He was diligent, honest, and possessed an innate wisdom that belied his years. He wasn't just performing tasks, he was managing, organizing, and improving everything he touched. His integrity shone brightly, earning him the trust and admiration of everyone around him. Potiphar soon elevated him, placing him in charge of his personal affairs, a position of significant responsibility. Yusuf wasn't just a slave anymore. He was a trusted steward, handling the household's finances and operations. It seemed divine grace was indeed guiding his every step, preparing him for what was to come, a testament to his resilience and Allah's unwavering protection. But this rapid ascent, this undeniable blessing, was also setting the stage for his next, perhaps greatest, trial. As Yusuf matured, his beauty became legendary. It wasn't just a superficial attractiveness, it was a profound, almost ethereal handsomeness that radiated from his very being. Zuleika, Potiphar's wife, found herself increasingly captivated. What started as admiration slowly twisted into a dangerous obsession. She was a woman of status, accustomed to getting what she desired, and now her desire focused solely on Yusuf. She began to pursue him relentlessly, her infatuation escalating day by day. She'd adorn herself in her finest clothes, arrange intimate settings, and try every trick in the book to entice him. Imagine the psychological pressure. Here was a young man, a slave in a foreign land, constantly pursued by the mistress of the house, a woman of immense power. There was no escape within those walls. Her advances were relentless, her gaze unwavering. Every day was a test, a battle against temptation, a profound moral dilemma playing out in the isolated confines of their home. But Yusuf was not just a handsome face. He was a man of unwavering piety and profound fear of Allah. He knew his duty to his master, and more importantly, his devotion to God. Each time Zuleika made her advances, he firmly yet respectfully rejected her. He'd say, "I seek refuge in Allah. Indeed, He is my master, who has made my residence good. Indeed, wrongdoers will not succeed." He understood the gravity of the situation, the betrayal it would represent, and the sin it would incur. He wasn't just resisting temptation. He was holding on to his very soul, his connection to the divine. The tension built day after day until it reached its dramatic climax. One fateful day, Zuleika, unable to control her desires any longer, locked the doors of her chamber. She had prepared everything, determined to have him. She called to him, "Come to me!" But Yusuf, with the strength of his faith, refused. He made a desperate move, trying to flee, to escape her clutches. As he ran towards the door, she lunged at him, grabbing the back of his shirt in a desperate attempt to stop him. The fabric ripped, tearing from the back, as Yusuf burst through the door, escaping her grasp. It was a moment of high drama, a pulse-pounding escape, a powerful testament to his purity and Allah's direct protection. He chose faith over fleeting pleasure, integrity over sin, and in that moment, he truly triumphed. But the story didn't end there. The ripped shirt, the dramatic escape, it all happened just as Potiphar arrived at the door. Zuleika, ever cunning and quick-witted, immediately turned the tables. Before Yusuf could even utter a word, she accused him. "What is the recompense for one who intended evil for your wife, but that he be imprisoned or receive a painful punishment?" Potiphar was stunned, caught in a whirlwind of confusion and anger. He looked from his wife, distraught and accusing, to Yusuf, standing there, his shirt torn from the back. The situation looked bleak for Yusuf. Who would believe a slave over the word of the chief minister's wife? But then, a miraculous intervention. A witness, according to different interpretations, either a wise relative of Zuleika or a baby in a cradle, spoke up. This witness, with divine insight, offered a simple, undeniable truth. If his shirt is torn from the front, then she has told the truth, and he is among the liars. But if his shirt is torn from the back, then she has lied, and he is among the truthful. Potiphar immediately looked at Yusuf's shirt. There it was, undeniable proof. The shirt was ripped from the back. The truth was laid bare. Zuleika's deceit was exposed. Potiphar, understanding the gravity of his wife's lie, told Yusuf, "Turn away from this," and, to Zuleika, "Ask forgiveness for your sin. Indeed, you have been among the sinners." It was a gasp of relief, a moment where justice, for now, prevailed. However, the scandal, once ignited, couldn't be contained within the walls of Potiphar's household. Whispers began to spread throughout the bustling city of Egypt. The women of the city, captivated by gossip, started talking about Zuleika's brazen infatuation with her young slave. They gossiped about her loss of self-control, her desperate attempts, and her clear transgression against her husband's honor. "The wife of Al-Aziz is seeking to seduce her slave," they whispered. "She is indeed in clear error." Zuleika, hearing these rumors and feeling her reputation tarnished, decided on a cunning and audacious plan. She invited these gossiping women to a grand feast at her home. She prepared a lavish spread, providing each woman with a sharp knife and fruits to cut. Then, at the height of their gathering, she called for Yusuf to appear. As Yusuf entered the room, his unparalleled beauty, his radiant presence, simply stunned them into silence. The women, completely mesmerized, were so overwhelmed by his appearance that they unconsciously cut their own hands with the knives, mistaking their fingers for the fruit. "Goodness gracious!" they exclaimed. "This is not a human being. This is none other than a noble angel." Zuleika, seizing the moment, declared, "This is the one about whom you blamed me. And I did seek to seduce him, but he firmly refused. And if he will not do what I order him, he will surely be imprisoned and will surely be among those humiliated." Even after this dramatic revelation, and the public acknowledgement of Yusuf's captivating beauty and his innocence, the scandal continued to rage. Potiphar, facing immense pressure to quell the gossip and protect his family's honor, made a difficult decision. Despite knowing Yusuf was innocent, he decided to imprison him. It was a harsh, unjust fate, a profound test of Yusuf's unwavering faith. From the well to the household, and now to the cold, dark confines of a prison cell, Yusuf's journey continued. What new trials awaited him within those walls? And how would he ever escape this seemingly endless cycle of misfortune to fulfill his destiny? The clanging of the heavy iron door echoed as Yusuf was thrust into the grim confines of the Egyptian prison. This wasn't just a building of stone and bars. It was a place of despair, a living tomb for forgotten souls. The air hung thick with the stench of neglect and the silent cries of men whose hopes had long since withered. But even within these oppressive walls, Yusuf's noble character, his innate kindness, and his deep, unshakable faith shone with an uncommon brilliance. He didn't succumb to the darkness. Instead, he became a beacon. His gentle demeanor, his profound wisdom, and his genuine compassion for others soon earned him the respect and trust of his fellow inmates. They saw in him a man unlike any they'd ever known, someone who carried himself with dignity despite his unjust circumstances. Yusuf became a source of comfort, a quiet counsel for those burdened by their own misfortunes. He'd listen, he'd offer solace, and subtly, he began to invite them towards a greater truth. His mission, his calling to monotheism, wasn't silenced by the prison walls. It was simply transformed. He understood that true freedom wasn't about escaping physical chains, but about liberating the heart and mind from the shackles of false worship. He began to speak of the one God, Allah, emphasizing the true purpose of existence, not merely survival, but devotion and gratitude. He'd share stories of prophets past, stories of divine justice and boundless mercy, planting seeds of faith in the barren ground of the dungeon. His words were a cool drink in a parched land, offering a different kind of hope to men who had none. He wasn't just surviving, he was thriving in his spiritual duty, turning his prison into a pulpit. One day, the monotony of prison life was broken by the arrival of two new inmates, men of significant standing, a cupbearer and a baker from the king's own court. They were troubled, their faces etched with anxiety, not just from their imprisonment, but from vivid, unsettling dreams that had plagued their sleep. Having witnessed Yusuf's piety, his calm demeanor, and the wisdom that radiated from him even in this wretched place, they approached him. "O Yusuf," they began, "we see that you are a righteous man. Tell us, what do these dreams mean?" They trusted him, feeling an inexplicable pull towards his purity. The cupbearer spoke first, his voice low with apprehension. "I saw myself pressing grapes into wine, just as I do for the king." Then the baker recounted his vision, even more disturbing. "I saw myself carrying bread on my head, and birds were eating from it." These weren't just random night terrors. They felt significant, prophetic. This interaction was a critical pattern interrupt, a moment that revealed Yusuf's extraordinary divine gift of dream interpretation, a skill he hadn't had occasion to display since his own childhood dreams. It was a sign, a subtle whisper from Allah, that his plan was still unfolding, even in the deepest shadows. Yusuf listened intently, his gaze compassionate yet firm. But before he delivered the interpretations, he seized this profound opportunity. He wasn't just a dream interpreter, he was a prophet, a messenger. He looked at them, his eyes reflecting a light that transcended the dungeon's gloom. "Before I tell you what your dreams mean," he began, "let me tell you about the knowledge my Lord has taught me. This ability to interpret dreams isn't from me. It's a gift from Allah, a part of the wisdom He has bestowed upon me, because I've chosen His path and abandoned the ways of those who don't believe in Him and deny the hereafter." His voice grew stronger, filling the small space. "Oh, my two companions in prison, are many diverse lords better, or is Allah, the one, the irresistible? What you worship besides Him are nothing but names you and your forefathers have invented, for which Allah has sent down no authority. Indeed, the judgment is only for Allah. He has commanded that you worship none but Him. That is the correct religion, but most people don't know it." This powerful sermon, delivered in the confines of a prison cell, showcased his unwavering faith and his dedication to guiding others towards the truth, even when his own freedom was denied. He wanted them to understand that the true power lay not in kings or idols, but in the Creator of all things. Then, with a gentle solemnity, he turned to their specific visions. "As for one of you, the cupbearer. You will pour wine for your Lord to drink once again. You'll be released and restored to your position. A glimmer of hope flickered in the cupbearer's eyes. But as for the other, the baker, Yusuf continued, his voice softening with regret, you will be crucified, and birds will eat from your head. The stark prediction hung heavy in the air, an emotional beat that left both prisoners, and indeed, anyone hearing this story, in chilling suspense. One would walk free, the other would face a gruesome end. It was a grim reality, a powerful demonstration of Yusuf's prophetic insight, leaving no doubt about the truth of his words. As the day of their respective fates approached, Yusuf made a plea to the cupbearer, a desperate yet hopeful request. "Remember me with your Lord when you are free," he implored. "Mention my case to the king, so that I might find justice and freedom from this unjust imprisonment." The cupbearer, overjoyed by the news of his impending release, readily promised. I will remember you," the cupbearer promised, his voice filled with the relief of a man granted a new lease on life. But the euphoria of freedom often eclipses the solemnity of promises made in distress. Years passed. The cupbearer, now restored to his position in the king's court, forgot all about Yusuf, languishing in his prison cell. It seemed Allah willed this delay, a test of Yusuf's patience, and a divine plan unfolding in its own time. Then one night, the king of Egypt had a disturbing dream. He saw 7 fat cows being devoured by 7 lean ones, and 7 green ears of corn replaced by 7 dry ones. The dream troubled him deeply. He summoned his magicians, soothsayers, and wise men, demanding an interpretation.